Number 5, yeah.
Number
I know. You're used to finishing with me, because
oh,
your best player takes the last shot, and that's me. So,
well,
but
Adam's taking the last shot today,
um,
apparently.
unfortunately,
I
so
don't know what's good about
I
you.
I did the Spurs because I think this might be my spiciest take.
Okay.
I looked at the Spurs. They're the player that currently leads them in win shares. Do you know who that is?
Cam Johnson.
Devin Vassell.
Or Keldon Johnson.
It's Jakob Portal with 1.5.
That is... yeah. Okay. Yeah,
So since they lost Kawhi, they have gone 32 and 39, 33 and 39, 34 and 48, 10 and 20. I think it's time for new voices in the coaching and the GM. I think this is a situation where I don't think Popovich is as equipped to coach and build the next generation of Spurs up. I think it needs to be a new regime that does it.
Yeah, Pop is the greatest coach of all time.
Easily,
That's not even objective, but I
No.
think it's time. Are you saying no?
No, I'm saying no. I agree. He's the greatest coach of all time.
I was gonna say that was the stupidest take of the night. If you were disagreeing with that, but I think it is time for him to ride off into the sunset.
He's ruining his legacy right now.
Yeah, he's not a spring chicken anymore, and it's time for new voices. And there are some great. I think Becky Hammond's still there. She's been fantastic.
Yeah.
Give her a shot at the head coaching spot and let the young team develop. And yeah, there's been some setbacks because Josh Primo looked like an up-and-coming quality NBA player, and obviously he's no longer currently with a job.
I think the problem is that I think before Kawhi left, they had themselves set up very, very nicely. I think they were prepared to ride the next wave with Kawhi, and that whole saga where he eventually got shipped off to the Raptors kind of threw a monkey wrench in that. And it's been 4 years now, and I don't think they've really found anything viable that, they don't have their next Kawhi. They don't have their next Duncan. I don't even think they really have anyone who I'd consider their next Manu or Tony Parker. They don't have anyone to build around. They got Keldon Johnson.
Devin Vassell, gotta stop sleeping on him.
He's going to be a role player for another team.
Since I just looked it up, because we were talking about the Spurs, apparently the psychologist who had filed a lawsuit against Josh Primo dropped it. I don't know if it's too late, but I would like to see him picked back up by the Spurs if everything is actually good there. Because he was a part of that young core, and it was a decent future. But I do agree that the team needs to be looking more towards the future and stop riding the legacy of the past, because yes, the Spurs are probably the most, well, not even probably, they are the most successful franchise of the modern era. But it's time to move on. It's time to get to the future, and there's multiple paths to that future, I think.
100%. I think the only way I could see Pop staying, like justifying it, is if they got Victor, and you could have Pop coach Victor up as, their next heir apparent.
I don't know. I want the man to retire.
Yeah, me
for
too.
his sake, for his family's sake. Like,
yeah, me too.
You've been doing it long enough. You have earned that right.
He's proven enough.
Yeah, there's nothing left to prove. You are the greatest coach of all time. Just ride off into the sunset. Give your speeches when players retire. enjoy your time in the Hall of Fame. That's
Okay.
I don't have anything else to say about that.
Why did they not? I know it's because he's still in the league, but I think Coach of the Year trophy needs to be renamed after him.
Since he's still in the league, I can't. But
well, I'm just saying, since they was doing the updates to the trophies, it either
okay. Since he's still in the league, who should it be? Should it be the Phil Jackson Award? I don't know either. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Who should it be?
I'm just saying, 9 rings.
Doesn't he have 10?
6 with Jordan, 3 with Kobe, and Shaq.
Kobe has 5 rings.
Yes, he did. I don't think he coached them in 08 and 09 when they was on those runs. Did he?
I'd have to look it up.
I'm looking right now. It was Phil Jackson. You were correct. So yeah, he has 5. Or 10.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw a curveball out for a name. It's not really a curveball because if it's not Pop and it's not Jackson, because I don't want it to be Jackson. Pat Riley.
Pat Riley.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
See, I think he's more deserves the General Manager of the Year award because
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I just really don't want it to be a Phil Jackson. Like that.
If you don't go Phil Jackson,
Jerry Sloan? Like
Jerry Sloan, maybe
he quit on his team. Deron
Williams made him leave.
It's a name I haven't thought about in a while. Since we're younger, there's probably someone like if there's like older people.
I'm trying not to do like 80s back because they're trying to do like newer names.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. We've spent enough time on the trophies between the last episode and this. I don't want it like that's making my head hurt.
Only thing else I'm gonna add is if I had to do it, it would be probably Chuck Daly or Larry Brown. If it's not
Larry Brown, I wouldn't have an issue with.
Yeah.
But moving right along.
To your
my
final.
5th team. Yeah, this is my last team. And I saved the worst for last. I'm going to be completely honest with you because the last team that I drew in our pool was the Pelicans.
Last shot. That's why you never taken a last shot. Anyway, go on.
I drew the Pelicans, and the Pelicans are just such a good team.
With the chance of getting another lottery pick.
Yeah, and maybe that should be their Christmas wish is that the Lakers bottom out and they have the better shot at Victor. But in terms of like actual researching of them,
it should involve Zion.
It's like a 12th man. Like they need more depth. That's the only thing I could find. Like yeah, I could say they could use Kevin Durant or they could use Steph Curry, but realistically, all this team needs, because it's such a well-constructed team from top to bottom,
really
is either a depth defensive big or a depth wing.
See, I think they need a playmaker.
That's it. I don't.
I think they need someone who can get Zion the ball, get Ingram the ball where they need it, when they need it. They need a Rondo-esque player.
They move the ball so well as a team. I don't think they need someone floor generaling them.
Oh, no, I'm not saying a floor general. I'm just saying they need someone who, as much as I hate to say it, like Draymond, who can get the ball and make an extra pass. That one unselfish player.
But they're all unselfish. That's the thing. Like, you expect them all to have, like, these giant egos, but, like, when you're watching them, the ball is just whipping around the floor all the time, and it's always finding the right person. Like, they are doing so well at that side of it. Like, yeah, their leading assist getter only has 6 assists, but they've got, like, 4 guys that are in the 4.5 range. Like, it is just great team basketball, and that's depth, rebounding, defense, shooting. That's all I could find for what I would add to this team in a realistic fashion. Because with how successful they are, because they're number 1 in the West right now. They might be number 1.
They're 3.
Are they number 3 now?
Yeah, 18 and 12. They're a game behind the Nuggets and Grizzlies.
Well, when I was researching, they were number 1. But with how successful they've been, you can't make a trade for a big piece without sacrificing that core, and they've played so well together. The only realistic option I could find was a depth piece, and that's like testament to the Pelicans, because they have really turned it around from the Anthony Davis days. If neither of you have anything to add to it, like I should have gone with the Pelicans first because they're that boring of a team to talk about.
I think the thing I'd be concerned about if I was the Pelicans is when the playoffs do start, because that's what I care about. You've had a good amount of, granted, most of them were first-round exits, but you've had a good amount of playoff games played without Zion in there now. So what's that going to look like when the playoffs start, when these players are used to playing without Zion when the games matter?
Here's my thing, is we haven't seen Zion in the playoffs. We haven't seen him under pressure. We don't know how he's going to handle the pressure. We don't know.
Zion will be fine.
Zion choked in the NCAA finals. He missed the free throws that cost him the championship.
I think Zion is, out of all the players in the league that have not been to the finals, right? I think Zion is the most ready for that moment. I think he'll be fine. If they make it to the finals, Zion is not my concern on that team.
I'm just concerned how the team's going to be around him if he's there, though.
Yeah, and that's fair. He's missed a lot of games in his career, obviously, and health is a concern. So
I actually went to Zion's page because I didn't believe Adam, but he does not have any playoff stats. Adam is right.
No, and that's this year, obviously, barring an implosion, we will see Zion in the playoffs, but I think Zion is ready for that moment. I think he'll be fine. I would be concerned with the rest of the team, but I have no concerns about Zion. None. As long as he's healthy. And so you could say, like, that could be their... I don't want...
It just to be healthy, yeah.
Yeah, it just be healthy, because that feels like a cop-out, and yeah, I took the cop-out with the Pelicans of just saying, oh, they need a depth shooter. But legitimately, in terms of realistic acquisitions, that's the only thing I could find. So that's all I got.
Here's the thing with the Christmas list that I'm going to say as a whole is, because I think I'm a little bit more proficient in football than I am in basketball. And in football, it feels like when playoff starts, it's a war of attrition. The healthiest team usually wins.
Yeah.
So if the playoffs matter in the grand scheme of things, when I look at each team, I want to look at their chances and viability of making the finals. Health is really the biggest thing. Like and if you're not a playoff team, then really what you want is either development or high draft picks, so I don't even know if I'd call them a cop-out. I think the wish list has been more of a reason to discuss every team, and I think overall, no matter what team you follow, there has been at least something to hear about your favorite team.
Right, and I think, like, from a personal
point about fan appeasement, but
from a personal point of view, I've enjoyed this because while I did do in-depth research on my teams, I also was researching the other teams in the conference, and I try to watch as many games as possible, and if nothing else, I'm watching highlights of most teams, but I'm not able to really follow those teams closely, but I spend a lot of times either browsing comments on the teams that you guys were following's Facebook pages or their Reddits. Like, there was a lot of, by the way, follow us on Facebook. There was a lot of
So
time learning about teams and players that I otherwise wouldn't have. So I've enjoyed this.
Yes.
So I'm going to add some context too, because if you're listening to this, you don't actually get how impressive that is, because Rehn over here works probably more than both of us combined. No, not probably.
Yeah.
He works more than both of us
I guarantee he
combined.
works quadruple what both of us do.
So that means that he spends any free time he gets consuming an NBA, watching highlights, researching for this stuff. It's
preparing
very
for you guys.
So I don't know if I'd call it impressive for me. I have the same hours. I leave at the same time every day.
I don't have a necessarily set schedule. I typically just work 70 plus hours every week. It's great, but
it's my days at work is, someone throwing an onion at me, or, having to kick out someone who comes into the store half an hour before opening. That happened today, by the way. We had to kick someone out of the store because they tried to get into the store half an hour before we opened.
Did they come back?
Yeah, we got that. If you're listening to this and you're snowed in right now, that's probably why you've subjected yourself to listening to us talk for an hour and a half, 2 hours, however long this ends up being. About 2 hours. So if you're listening to this, it's probably because you're snowed in, because if you're in the Midwest or the Northern 48, you're dealing with a lot of winter weather right now. We're aware. Thank you for spending that time with us. It's quality time. We're getting to know you. You're getting to know us. Thank you. But, Adam, there are 10 seconds on the clock. The ball is in your hands. Bring us home.
Okay.
We just lost.
Well, I'm going to bring us home with a cop-out then, since you wanted to say it earlier.
He choked it! He choked it! Oh, no!
I think the Clippers... I think it's more of a behind-the-scenes thing that needs to happen.
Uh-huh.
So my Christmas list for them is they got to hire some better athletic doctors. There's too many injuries on that team. Kawhi and PG can't stay healthy at the same time. They've barely played together in playoffs. You've got to get something to keep them healthy.
I'm just gonna say maybe, and this is just me spitballing here. So Pacers fan here, right? So I very familiar with Paul George, and
blowing playoffs. Yes, I know.
And as you two will be aware, I'm not the biggest Kawhi Leonard fan. So with those two players in mind, I have an alternative suggestion instead of hiring a new medical staff. My Christmas list would be the players listening to the medical professionals who know more than they do.
Are you serious?
I'm just saying, clearly, sitting out of games isn't the solution. Maybe you should actually be listening to the medical teams because they know what they're talking about. You don't. Your job is to score the basketball. That's all I want to hear from you. I do not want any more medical advice from NBA players. I'm sorry. That's just my soapbox.
I don't want any scientific stuff from NBA players, like Kyrie pulling the whole Earth is flat.
That's the thing. You're not in his mindset, and not only that, he's expected to perform when he is out there, so he has to be in the right physical and mental condition.
Right. But he is not... If he's supposed to be in the best physical condition, maybe he should be listening to the people who have dedicated their lives to studying the physical condition instead of just saying, they're responsible for my injury. I demand a trade because I'm not happy. When you're doing it your way, it's clearly not working, so maybe you should try it their way.
I choose the Spurs with that and not talking about the Clippers. There was more than that going on with it.
And that was most of it that came out, but... I'm just saying, listen to medical professionals. They've dedicated their lives to this stuff. Don't listen to personalities that have no discernible medical background.
Oh yeah, 100% agree. Especially if they're telling you not to get vaccinated.
I mean that it depends. I think that's.
Oh man!
I think if you want to make a choice not to.
Yeah, but I'm saying don't listen to some person that doesn't know what they're talking about.
Yeah. So if you're going to make that decision, do it from a point of education, not because one of the Kardashians have told you something. Like, if they've told you something and you're like, hey, maybe they're right, do actual research. Don't go watch YouTube videos. Look, we are going off on a tangent that we definitely
really
should
are.
be going off
Yeah.
on.
We should not.
Point is, figure out what's best for you by going through the proper channels. Don't get medical advice from Kim Kardashian. All I'm saying.
I think you have to worry more about medical advice from TikTok now.
Kim Kardashian is on TikTok. Hey, follow us on TikTok. We're on TikTok, right?
Yeah. I actually
follow us on TikTok.
I actually didn't know she was on TikTok because I actually don't really use TikTok.
I think
So
everyone
I'm gonna try to get this conversation back to a basketball standpoint. If
Kim
PG
Kardashian has dated basketball players, I think.
Chris Humphries.
PG and Kawhi are healthy, and the Clippers are, say, a 4 seed, a 5 seed, do you really want to see them?
She dated Chris Humphries, Lamar Odom, and Tristan Thompson.
Wait,
What were you asking?
She dated Lamar? I thought that was her sister.
She also dated Pete Davidson.
Well, she's dating Pete Davidson right now.
No, they broke
she's
up.
dating?
Oh, did they?
Oh, they broke up. God, follow
Yeah.
Kim Kardashian on TikTok, Adam.
Why would I follow Kim Kardashian?
Maybe she'll follow you back. I don't know.
Yay.
Yeah.
What was your... What did you say, Angelo? I completely zoned out.
It's healthy and in the right headspace, and PG is healthy. Do you really want to see the Clippers in the playoffs, no matter what seeding they have?
What team
I
am I?
don't.
What team am I?
Does it matter?
It does.
Really?
It absolutely does. So I'm going to use your logic here. What has PG done in the playoffs?
Kawhi is the guy.
No.
taking the final shot.
What has Paul George done in the playoffs?
He has shown glimpses of greatness and then choked.
No.
in the conference finals.
No. You're
I said it and
backtracking.
choked in the conference finals.
You
That
are
is where he
backtracking.
chokes it. The conference finals.
You got to get through the conference finals to get to the finals.
That is true.
He has, by your definition, he is not a successful player, so he's not a threat in the playoffs. Your definition.
But he's not the guy. I didn't
No,
say
no.
if PG was controlling the team and Kawhi was out. I said if PG and Kawhi are there, who do you want? What team wants that?
But it doesn't matter that Kawhi is there. How many times has LeBron been to the finals? Where are the Lakers? Make it make sense, Angelo. Be consistent.
Even out.
So
LeBron is out of his prime. Kawhi at least has a shot to still carry a team to the finals. Does he not? Does he not?
By himself? No.
He has PG.
What success does PG have?
I'll do the same with the Trey argument. PG is not going to make it to the finals as the best guy, but as the second guy, he has a shot. Does he not?
He has a shot.
PG's biggest playoff moment was getting waved at by Damian Lillard.
No, PG's biggest playoff moment was LeBron James, PG, dueling dunks. That was an exciting series, but that doesn't matter. I don't. If I am thinking of Western Conference, I've got all the Western Conference teams pulled up here. If I am the Pelicans, I'm not that scared.
I want to see the Clippers upon the Pelicans. They have no inside defense.
If I am the Warriors, this season,
Really? If you're the Warriors, who can't
as long as
defend
Steph
anyone
Curry's
right now?
healthy, as long as Steph Curry is healthy, I'm picking the Warriors in most series just because he turns it up.
You're one of those fools I said who are afraid to write off the Warriors.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's okay.
It's not
It's
that I'm
okay. You can write them off.
I will write off the Warriors. I'm not writing off Steph Curry until he shows regression. I'm not doing it. I'm not. You can call me a fool. I'm not.
I don't think you can really regress when you're a good jump shooter. Look at Ray Allen.
He will eventually, because eventually he's not going to have the speed to get open. If I'm the Nuggets, honestly, I don't fear the Clippers.
Really?
It could be Game 7 of the NBA Finals, and Kawhi's like, my hammy's hurt. I need load management.
Stop it.
And then Paul George will blame the ownership and demand a trade.
No, he would never do that.
Never.
A little bit of,
I'm just saying
So,
history. History. It's a thing. He
You're just
teased the
mad
Lakers
you
that he was
couldn't
coming
win
to the
with
Lakers. No.
Huh?
He teased the Lakers that he was coming to the Lakers and then dipped.
Kawhi do that too, or are you talking about Kawhi?
I don't know, PG. Oh, did Kawhi do that too?
Yeah, he did.
It's hard for me to say poor Lakers, but poor Lakers.
He actually did a genius strategy because he waited until everyone else signed, and then he signed. And that was just perfect.
But
yeah,
I don't know. That was a tangent. I'm not scared of the Clippers. I should be, but I'm not. Like, just because history. It's
Kawhi Leonard is a great player. He single-handedly. But Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, he's absolutely a great player.
I can't say that he single-handedly won Toronto the championship, but he was a very big contribution to it. The Kawhi we've seen with the Clippers has not been that Kawhi.
No, and again, like...
Oh, speaking of which, you asked for better... Who was the mid-range shooter? DeRozan? Kawhi might be it. Kawhi might be it.
It's DeRozan.
It's DeRozan.
You think so?
100%.
There are stats to back it up. I think DeRozan's shooting like 60-something% from mid-range, and there's no one even close to him. Okay. He's a mid-range magician, as they call them.
Midi magician.
But what is there anything else you guys want to talk about?